What up all? Welcome to this unrelenting brush painting tutorial video. Today I'm going to show you how to paint an Uruk Hai warrior from the Middle-earth strategy battle games system. Jesus, that's a mouthful. So we're going to approach this with the aim of painting it quickly to a really good standard for tabletop, focusing on the fact that the models for Middle-earth, you do need quite a few of the troops, so how can we do this quickly, effectively, and really make them stand out on the table when they're surrounded by other models. So the key points on this model are the armour, so we'll focus on a dark iron metallic there with some really nice subtle sharp highlights. The kind of tanned bronzed brown skin, and then the few focal points, things like the teeth, and a little bit of freehand for the white hand of Saruman just to help this model really stand out as you see them in the films. So let's get cracking. So we're going to start out with a prime of Chaos Black because the model is going to be predominantly dark and this will just do a lot of work for us. Majority of the model will be metallics, as you're probably aware. Then things like the flesh, there's a few straps, the hair, like I say, the teeth, the gloves and a few bits of fabric. So it makes more sense to start with the metallics here, and it's really nice and easy to do, it's really effective looking, and it takes very little time to do so. This is going to be really easy to replicate over 20 troops at a time. So starting out with our silver, you can use a rattle can if you want to, be it Citadel Lead Belcher or Army Painter Plate Mail or Silver Mail, whatever the hell it's called. I use my airbrush just to do some scale colour black metal over it. It looks a lot brighter in the video than it actually is, not sure why that is. So try and tag it from the top like a Zenithal, and then the Chaos Black will show through with the shadows and it'll just do that little bit of extra work for us. Start out with some Nuln Oil, no delicacy, no finesse, get it on there, don't let it pull, just make sure you're moving it around the model constantly. This is the old formula Nuln Oil, because all these shades from Games Workshop recently went through a kind of a revise. I've not noticed an enormous difference. I've used the new Agrax and it's fine. We'll have a look at that in a bit, but yeah, I don't think there'll be any issue using the old formula or the new formula, so long as it does what it needs to do. Which is shade and tint all this lovely silver. It'll take a good chunk of that metallic shine off it, and up next, when it's fully dry, we'll hit it with the Agrax Air Shade. This will add that grimy, earthy brown, rustic feel to it. So exactly as we did before, once the Nuln Oil is completely dry, slap it all over, don't let it pool in great massive blobs. Give it plenty of time to dry. Once this dries, you'll have a really nice dark, barely metallic dark iron colour. Then the next step is to brighten it back up with a really nice subtle highlight, which we're going to do once this is dry. Ooh, look at me, I'm an Uruk Hai. I like Saruman and meat being back on the menu. Up next is the really fun bit, so we're going to take this light metal paint from Ammo's range. We're going to apply it like a dry brush, but gentler. So load your brush up, take most of the paint off. You can use some tissue paper like a normal person, or you can use the roof of your palette or your hand, because I'm a filthy yet. Either way, as long as you get most of the paint off, this is what you want to do. So then you attack the armour gently from the edges, so like here I'm feathering the edge of the shield, the crest of the helm, the faceplate, the edge of the scimitar. You really do just need to gently tickle it and tap it just like I'm doing here. You could do a full-on dry brush, but you don't want to undo all that nice worn metal that we've done on the armour so far. So don't be afraid to turn the model upside down, because then you can get to the chest armour and the other sides of the shield and that lovely little crest line at the front of the shield. This will give us a really nice, albeit subtle, metallic effect on the armour to make it look like he's been scrapping, while making sure it's not overpowering and making it look like he's an Uruk Hai with dirty, filthy dark armour. Bang! Armour's done. You could do that over 20 models easily within half an hour. Up next, we're going to do the flesh. So I'm going to use Model Colours Cavalry Brown here. Really nice kind of warm brown red. You could use Mournfang Brown if you wanted to, or Doomball Brown, or any alternative. This is where we're going to need to be a little bit neat. You don't need to worry if you do get it onto the metallics that we've already done, you can just tidy them up. If you need to tidy them up, I'd recommend going in with your initial dark colour. So I used Scale Colours Black Metal. You could use Iron Warriors from Citadel, either way, go in with the dark colour. So fill in all those flesh areas, the legs, the creases in the arm, his face, and there you go. That's most of the base colours down. Up next is the fabrics and the clothing bits on the Uruk Hai. So they're on the front of his groin armour and on the back. He's also got some weird Uruk Hai sock things going on, so I'm going to do these Mechanica Standard Grey. Maybe you could opt to do them in a dark brown just to add a little bit more colour in there, because this maybe ties in a bit too much with the silver, but go ham, it's an Uruk Hai, not a fashion show. So get all those bits base coloured in, and once that's done we'll move on to the next bit. Up next, we're going to do some more fabrics with Corvus Black. We're going to use this for the gloves and the straps and the belt, which are kind of all over this model. So both hands, don't forget the hand on the inside of the shield, we're just going to base coat with Corvus Black. He's got an array of straps over him, including his belt. He's got them, one running down his back, he's got them around his legs and his arms to secure his armour, so just base coat those in. Again, pays to be neat, but if you do make a mistake, just go back over with the colour you need to. Now we're on to the hair. So Uruk Hai have varying shades and colour of hair. I went for a rainy brown from Scale Colour. You can literally use any dark colour here. I wouldn't advise like pearlescent blonde or white. Something dingy, so any browns or tans or blacks or greys. Yep, very little to it. Get it base coated, let it dry, and then we're pretty much there. Up next is the teeth. So this is where it pays to be neat. Load your brush up with a little bit of bone. I use this one from Reaper Paints. Drag a little line on the inside of his mouth, and that should do all the work for you. Gorgeous! We're back to our old true friend, which is Agrax. Now we're going to use this to paint over all the base layers that we've just done, so not the metallics. Not the end of the order if you do get it back on the metallics, just it pays to be a little bit neat here just to get it on the bits that you've just painted, so all those non-metallic bits, the fabrics, the skin, the teeth, the hair. This brings it all in and ties it with the armour and keeps it linked with that grimy, dirty aesthetic. Gives us all the shading that we want. Now I opt to not to go for any extra highlights from here. You can do if you want to, but if I'm painting 20 of these guys in a day, you don't need to highlight them to make them look good. You don't need that heavy Metal Games Workshop finish of highlighting every surface, edge and texture. Just pick your focal points on the model which you want to shine and focus there. And for this it's going to be the armour and those little bit of extra bits like the teeth and the freehand of the Hand of Saruman. Get all these bits painted with Agrax, let it dry, and let's see where we are then. Time to be brave, and we're going to practice some freehand. So take some Orthwine Grey or any off-white, use an odd base and start practicing that Hand of Saruman. So I do this by starting with the middle finger, I then do the other three fingers either side, a little white C for the palm, and then a thumb. So that's not a bad first attempt, it looks a bit more like a bear claw, so I think I need to work on those fingers a little bit. So again, middle finger, fingers either side, little C for the palm, and thumb. That top one's awful, don't look at it. By the time you've done 4 or 5 of these, I promise you'll start to notice it looking better. Practice as many times as you want, and then once you're feeling confident, pick a bit of the armour that you want to try this on. I went for the shield. There we are, on the shield, looking nice, instantly recognisable as what it is, so you can do these on the helm, on the armour, on his legs, anywhere that you want to do them, and once you've practiced these a few times, I promise that you'll be confident enough to do them over the whole army. And with that, our model is done. So this took me probably about 5 minutes to paint from start to finish. If you want to replicate this over 20 models, I recommend doing 10 or even 20 if you're feeling brave at a time. You'll get these painted up in no time, because each time you finish a step, the initial model will be dry. You can then go back and do the bits you need to. It's an intense sit-in, but by the end of it you'll have 20 models finished that all look absolutely wicked. You can opt for a matte varnish finish at the end if you want to really take the metallic shine off the model. I might do that, I might not, I've not decided yet. Once that's all done, you then base the army how you want. I'm going to wait for some Fields of New Zealand base-ready Geek Gaming Scenic stuff to come in the post, because obviously New Zealand, we love it. And there you go. I hope you found this video helpful. It was really, really fun to do. Let me know which one you'd like to see next. It'll be either a Warrior of Rohan, a Warrior of Minas Tirith, or a Mordor Orc. Leave a comment on what you'd like to see next, and thank you very much for checking me out. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that nonsense. Thank you kindly, and have a fantastic rest of your day. Peace.